Hello, this is the last video for word problems involving linear equations in one variable. Let's talk about coin or money problems. These next three sets of problems here is actually concerned on money or coin problems. Now, before we proceed to the processes of solving these three items here, we need to understand that the total amount that the money that a person could get is actually the result when we consider both the quality and quantity of the money. I'm talking about this. I have three pieces of 20 bills, 20 peso bills. How much money do I have right now? The answer is actually 60 pesos. And you all know that one. How do we determine the result mathematically? We have three pieces of 20 peso bills. The three pieces talks about how many of that kind of bill are there. So there are three pieces of them. That's quantity. Now, you multiply the 3 to 20 to get 60 because that 20 is the quality of the bill. Again, to get the total amount of money, you need to consider both the quantity, how many, and the quality, what type of money or coin do you have. So to answer, always consider that in your mind as you proceed to items 1, 2, and 3 in this practice exercise. Same thing with the two previous videos. We are going to follow the abbreviation I have presented in the module for action. It's just a summary of the usual steps that we are doing, just to just laid out lay down like this to specify them better. A stands for abridging, meaning we're going to give what are the details presented in the problem. C is the concede. It's now on the representation of those details. Then we have T. We're going to come up with a number sentence or an equation. We need to translate the given problem using the symbols in letters in set C or step C rather. I is now on solving process. So we need to apply how to solve linear equation in one variable. And then to be followed by O, which is an overplay. Just add the step is just added because there might be some problems that do not ask only about one thing. We might be asking for three different things or two different things. So O stands for overplay. We're going to answer the other based on whatever is the result in step I. And N, neutralize, meaning to check or look back and then considering all the relationships in the problem. So in number one, we have here this situation. An amount of 13.50 pesos is composed of a 25 centavo coin. I mean, composed of 25 centavo coins and 1 peso coins. If there are 14 more 25 centavo coins than 1 peso coins, then how many coins of each kind are there? Step A, abridging, we are given with two types. Because I have mentioned earlier, we are going to consider quality and then quantity for each type of coin or bill that is part of our problem. So we have here two types of coins which are actually considered to be the quality. How many qualities are there? We have two. That's actually 1 peso coins and 25 peso centavo, rather 25 centavo coins. As for the quantity, let's just stick for it for a while because that might be discussed in the next step. Okay, next step is C. Now, among those two types of coins, how do we represent the number of each kind? Definitely, we are going to use variables for that, and the simplest form of the variable is x. If we talk about number or integer problems in the previous video, you might want to review that video. We actually give x as a representation of the smaller integer or the smallest if there are three, because from smaller we could work out the larger and the other numbers using the representation of x. Now, if we talk about age problems, again, you might want to revisit that video. We have given the x as a representation on the present age of the younger person if there are two persons. Because number one, if we're going to get the symbolic form of the older person, we can always use the representation of x dependent on their situation. And then as we move to the time frames to the past in the future, it's easier for us to move because we could actually just simply subtract to the past and add to the present. Now, for the coin or money problems, we are going to give it the smaller quantity. That's why in letter A, we have not specified first the quantity because it is to be discussed here. Now, if we talk about quantity, we're going to look at the situation amongst those two, or between, rather, between the two types of coins, which has effectively smaller in count than the other. Not the value, okay? Not the quality, but the quantity. Looking at the problem, here the second statement, if there are 14 more 25 centavo coins than 1 peso coin. In this situation, it's telling us that there are the number of 25 centavo coins is more than the number of 1 peso coins. And exactly, there are 14 uh, pieces more than that. So which of the two types or two qualities of coins has the lesser number? Not the value, okay? The lesser number. Yes, the lesser value is 20 of centavo coins, but in this case, the lesser number in count, in quantity, amongst between rather the two quality of coins is the 1 peso coins. Again, let's try to read it. There are 14 more 25 centavo coins than 1 peso coins. It means that the smaller number of coins is for the 1 peso coin. So this is our answer. Let x be the number of 1 peso coins because it has lesser number based on that situation. Now, out from this, we could work out the number of 25 centavo coins. Let me just use cent so that to save some space and time. Okay. So we are given here that x will be given to the smaller numbers, not again, not the value, but the number of coins in the situation. And that is actually for the number of 1 peso coins. Looking at that, we are given that there are 14 more 25 centavo coins than 1 peso coins. It would mean that if I have 10 pieces of 1 peso coins, how many pieces of 25 centavo coins do I have? That would mean I have 24, which is 14 more than 10. To represent that, we could actually just use x plus 14. So this is now the number or the representation, step 2 or step C in the abbreviated action in our process. Out from this, we could come up with our translation later. But here's the thing, just like what happened in age problems, there is one unique process that we could actually do here so that it's easier for us to translate. I'm talking about a short table. Let's have a table here. Okay. Let me have three rows since there are two types of qualities of coin and one row for the header. Okay. And you have here three rows. I'm going to explain them one by one. Okay. So the first table, first header here is for the quality of coins. What are the types of coins present in the problem? Here, we have here the quantity. How many are they? And here would be the amount. Not the total amount, just the amount per quality. So instead of amount, let me just place here the product. Okay. Let me just say the product. Supposedly it's amount, but not to what you call it, misconceive with the given term amount in the statement. So let's just use the product here. There are two types of coins. You have here 1 peso coin, okay? 1 peso coin. So I'm going to use here no more other what do you call this terms. Just simply give here the type of quality of coin one, or you could actually use here if you would like to 1.00 as 1 peso coin. So that when you have 25 centavo coins, do not place here 25 cent. Express that in terms of amount. So you will have here 0.25, as we all know that 0.25 stands for the centavo coins. Okay? The quantity is already given by the previous step. Simply place it here, which corresponds the other, so that it will be easier for us to have our translation later. So how many 1 peso coins are there? We don't know, but we have represented it with X. How many 25 centavo coins are there? Again, we don't know, but we have represented it with this expression X plus 14. Now, this last column here is not necessarily needed, but I am advising you to do this so that you would be guided in what would be the expressions to be placed later on as you translate. And this is just simply the product. When you say product, I gave you an example earlier. I have 3 pieces of 20 peso bills. So the answer is I have 60 pesos as a total as the total amount. How do we get that? We simply multiply the type of bill I have, the quality, times how many are they, the quantity. Similarly, simply multiply this and that. You will have this expression here, 1.00 times x. Simply multiply, so simply use parentheses, and you will have here 0.25 times x plus 4. I am advising you not to solve this first because that is not necessarily our concern, but it will be very helpful later as we try to translate them. So let's try to have our step T, and we will be using the values here, specifically this product column. That is why I am encouraging you to express this in this form. And we are given with the first situation that an amount of 13.50 pesos. When you say amount, that means the total value composing of 25 centavo coins and 1 peso coins in this problem. So if you talk about amount, if you talk about total, it simply states that if we're going to add up the result per type of coin and how many are they, it must result to 13.50 pesos. Or the correct translation for this is in this form. We are going to have here the quality, qual quan of the first type of coin plus another quality times quantity. By the way, I'm just using symbols. Okay, so you will have here the amount, total amount. That is also a reason why I didn't place amount here earlier. So we are going to use the product for each. So in this case, the first quality is 1 peso, and there are X pieces of them. So the translation here is you will have 1 point. Let me use this color. 1.00 times X plus 0.25 X plus 4 will result to the total amount, which is 13.50 pesos. This is how we translate that. Because if I could say that I have 3 pieces of 20 peso bills and I have 2 pieces of 100 peso bills, I have 260 in all. Because I will multiply 3 pieces times 20, that's 60, and I have 2 pieces of 100, that's 200. So I'm going to sum them up to 60. That's the real process here. So it looks like that. We're going to add up the products here for this column and proceed now with our steps. Let me increase the space here and also some spaces here at the bottom, and probably move this a little bit further here so that I could have space for number one. So let me continue. The next step is I. stands for implement, meaning solve this. So 1 times x, you may have here x only or 1x, right? Take note for that. I am already resolving the situation. X plus distribute that, or sige, I will copy this first here, and then we are going to continue with the result. So 1 times x, I will have here x plus distribute that. By the way, I'm so sorry. This is actually 14. 14 here, color blue. Right, so it should be 14 here as well. So we have 0.25 times x. You will have 0.25x plus, and then you will get, you're just going to multiply 0.25 by 14. That's actually 3. That's actually 3.5. And the other side will still be 13.5. Simply continue. So you have 1 plus 25x. So you have 1.25x plus 3.5 or 50 is equal to 13.50. Subtract 13.50 both sides, 3.50 rather. So you will have here 1.25x is equal to 10.00. By the way, you need to review your decimals or numbers with decimal notation as you proceed here, because you are to divide both sides by 1.25 to cancel that out. So 1.25. If we're going to do that, you would know later that the value of x is actually 8. So this is the result for this equation. And 8 stands for, as we look at our step C, this stands for the number of 1 peso coins. This is the result for number of 1 peso coins. Since we are asked about each how many coins of each kind are there, we can have the overplay to solve the next value. We have here x plus 14 is the number of 25 centavo coins. X plus 14, where x is 8 plus 14, you will have here 22 pieces. And what are this? What is this? You will have this as the number of 25 cent coins. This is for the number of 25 cent coins. So to continue, to determine whether they are correct, we can always check. And when we check, we always refer to this statement here, that the product of the separately of the quality and quantity of each kind and sum them up, it must result to 13.5. Let's try. So you will have here 8 pieces. So sorry, quality first. 1 peso, or yeah, you could do that like that. Anyway, it's commutative. 8 pieces of 1 peso coins plus 22 pieces of 0.25 or 25 centavo coins. This must be the same as 13.5 as the total. Let's try to continue. Again, I use question mark. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 22 times 0.25 is 5.50 or 5.5. Question mark still 13.5. And finally, you will have an equation here, and this satisfies our problem. This would mean that the answer here, that there are 8 1 peso coins and there are 22 25 centavo coins, is correct. So to finish, you could just simply add the statement here that there are 8 pieces, or you could have the symbol of 1 peso coin and 22 pieces of 25 centavo coins. This now answers the problem. Before we proceed to items number two and number three, always think of how unique money or coin problems are. We are to consider the quality or the type of bills or coins and the quantity, how many are they. And then separately get their results, and looking at the situation, they must up to the result.